pilot who vanished from flying plane in March 2017. A light aircraft crashed near Manitouwadge, Ontario, a township more than 200 miles from Thunder Bay in Canada. However, when rescuers approached the wreckage, something curious struck them. There was no sign of a pilot, no body would be found in or in the vicinity of the plane. Rong, who was 27 when he disappeared, had originated from the Chinese city of Chongqing. He had at some point left that metropolis in China's northeast to come to the United States. His parents still lived in the East Asian country, but it seemed, with a wife in San Francisco, that he had settled in the U.S. The student had been a certified pilot, and was a member of the local flying club, the Michigan Flyers. Rong had been some sort of computer whiz. He'd been studying for his doctorate at University of Michigan, looking at human-computer interaction, natural language processing and artificial intelligence. The school, in Ann Arbor, Michigan, is the oldest in the state, having existed when it was still a territory. Meanwhile, on top of his interest in computing, Rong had less earthbound ambitions too. Apparently, he cherished a hope that he might one day contribute to the field of aviation safety. Certainly, he had already been engaged in the world of air travel, so his movements on the day of his disappearance weren't at all strange. Indeed, the student had been a certified pilot, and was a member of the local flying club, the Michigan Flyers. So it was probably not particularly noteworthy at first that he went to the Ann Arbor airport on March 15, 2017, and rented a Cessna 172 light airplane. Rong was flying a Cessna Skyhawk. This particular Cessna Skyhawk had belonged to the Michigan Flyers Club. After some time, the club noticed that the Cessna that Rong had rented had not come back, and it got in touch with the authorities. Meanwhile, the club's airplane was lying in some woods near Manitouwadge, Ontario. Somehow, instead of visiting Harbor Springs, the plane had crossed Lake Superior and ended up in a rural area in Canada. After being notified of the crash the next day, the Canadian authorities sent a Hercules to look for the plane. Eventually, a couple of search and rescue personnel went to the site by air to try to gather information. But there was very little to be found. Rong was nowhere to be seen. Even more curiously, although snow covered the ground, there were no footprints nearby. Whoever had flown the plane had vanished without a trace. Moreover, no sign of the man who had rented the aircraft could be found in the months that followed. Indeed, his fate remained a mystery, leaving just the wreckage. Although the authorities were able to trace who the pilot had been, a man later named as PhD student Xin Rong, this didn't help locate him. Eventually, 6 months after the wreck's discovery, his wife, Xin Rong, petitioned a Michigan court to provide a declaration that he was dead. Then a few weeks after Ruan had filed, a Washtenaw County judge declared Rong dead, adding that although the student's body had not turned up, there could be little doubt about his fate. The judge said that the young man had no chance of being alive. What actually happened with Xin Rong, whether he is alive or dead, is still unknown, as his body or any other traces was never found. The real fate of Rong is still an unsolved mystery.